Hi everybody, this is Barry Schwartz and this is a Search Buzz video recap. Today is January 20th and this is the search news we covered over the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable. We'll start with the big announcement from last night. Google announced that they have a new page layout algorithm. It's basically a penalty for any sites that have really top-heavy ads. Google said it will affect about 1 out of every 100 searches, so it's not as big of an effect as the Panda algorithm, but this one will affect about 1 out of every 100 searches. If your site is affected, Google wants you to take a look at their new browser size tool or some of the other tools to see how heavy your ads are on the top. And then if you are affected, you should remove those ads or replace those ads in some other position, and then go ahead and just wait. It could be several weeks until Google pushes out another update towards this algorithm, and you'll be able to hopefully get out of this. A lot of people call these very hypocritical because Google themselves, if you do a search for any of these ads, keywords in their search results, you'll notice that Google themselves has tons and tons of ads at the top, and it really takes a long time for them to get to the content. And Google said, and I'll quote Matt Cutts, "We've heard complaints from users that if they click on the result and it's difficult to find the actual content, they aren't happy with the experience. Rather than scrolling down the page past a few slew of ads, users want to see the content right away." Same thing with Google's results. If you do a search for umbrellas or something like that, you'll see 3 or 4 ads, push down, and then you have to scroll and scroll to actually get to the actual organic results. In any event, here is how our site looks like in the Google search result browser size tool. I'll bring it up over here as well so you can see that. So it looks pretty good. Hopefully your site looks good too. But if you look at Google's ads, you'll see that they're pretty much all above the top, and you have to actually scroll and scroll and scroll to see it. In any event, it's also hypocritical that Google AdSense recommends that you put top-heavy ads, ad, and then your content, surrounded by the ads. And I don't know if they're going to stop doing that at all, but that's where we are right now. In any event, we have more information about that this morning on January 20th at seroundtable.com. Next thing was this whole SOPA thing, PIPA. Basically, there's a lot of protests in the internet by internet companies, from Wikipedia to Google to even Bing on some level, that they just don't want this regulation because of a lot of different reasons. I'm not going to get into it. But for that, Google went ahead and blacked out their logo. And when you clicked on the logo, it took you to a landing page explaining what's going on and how to sign a petition. So Google blacked out their logo, but Yahoo and Bing did nothing in order to protest publicly about this, at least not publicly in the sense on their homepage. DuckDuckGo had a logo, and Ask.com put out an ad. Wikipedia went extreme by overlaying a whole entire black thing on top of their thing. Imagine basically a world without free knowledge, basically, was what they said. Because Wikipedia is trying to make a statement, if this goes through, Wikipedia will be hurt, and Wikipedia won't be able to provide their website. A lot of different other sites did it as well, where they blacked out their site, but Yahoo and Bing did not. Because of this, Google actually slowed down their Googlebot, because a lot of websites were actually blacking out their sites, which would cause a major search ranking issue for a Googlebot traffic issue and a major search ranking issue for these sites. So Pierre Farr from Google announced that Google will be slowing down their Googlebot, their web crawler, in order to not have a negative impact on the sites that are actually protesting for SOPA. So it was interesting. People didn't notice that. A lot of people were saying, "Hey, where's my traffic? Where's my Googlebot spider? It hasn't crawled my site yesterday at all." A lot of people said they got zero traffic, zero crawl data from Googlebot yesterday, or actually January 18th, the day of SOPA. Thing was, maybe some sites Google stopped crawling completely because they're not news-oriented sites. So I wouldn't worry about that. Googlebot was on purpose. And even before that, on January 16th, 17th, Google said that, if you want to go ahead and black out your site, this is the things you should do. You should use a 503 HTTP header code, and then it goes through the various details of what other things you could do, just in case you want to take off your site for a day or so. And that's obviously useful if you're moving sites or moving things and you want to be careful not to hurt your rankings. Matt Cutts announced yesterday that Google has expanded their hacked sites label, the label that says this site might be compromised. And Google's Matt Cutts said, "We launched a change that will expand our coverage of labeling the search results pages that we believe have been hacked or compromised." And he goes through the history of this, but they basically expanded this, and we'll hopefully, I guess, see things being updated faster, and as well as more and more coverage of what is hacked and what's labeled and what's malware. Google AdWords announced two different things. The first thing they announced was that they now have expanded their automated rules from 10 automated rules at once to 100 automated rules. Plus, they added an undo feature, which basically documents what rules are run, and then you can hit undo if you didn't like those rules. So that's a nice little thing. In addition, Google AdWords has updated their algorithm for determining the impression shared metrics in the results. Actually, it's not updated yet. It will be. The reason they're doing this is because they're providing the impression share metrics at the ad group level, on a higher level. So now people can actually see on the ad group level what their impression share metrics look like. So they'll be able to add impression share, lost impression share rank, as well as exact match impression share, so they can actually see how well their ad groups are doing on a higher aggregate level than other campaigns. And part of that is they had to go ahead and redefine their campaign level statistics by updating the algorithm for that. And they're going to be doing once-a-day updates around 8 p.m., around noontime Pacific. Around noontime Pacific time, they will be doing updates that once a day. So it's not going to happen. It's going to happen on a set schedule as opposed to how it was happening before. We posted a thing on 2012 link building tools. We listed a webmaster role thread, which basically broke out all the tools that people should be using. Obviously, Yahoo Site Explorer is dead, so now the options are Majestic SEO, Open Site Explorer, SEO Moz tools, Scrapebox, SEO Spyglass, SEO Books tools, Bleco, Raven tools, Ontolo, Excel, and then people were starting to put out in our comments several different tools as well that were not listed in the webmaster role thread. We have more information about that on January 16th at SEOroundtable.com. Big news this week also is Yahoo's co-founder, Jerry Yang, has resigned formally from the Yahoo completely, from the board, from the Japanese board, from all the different various components of Yahoo, effective immediately. He's no longer part of Yahoo at all. I assume he has some shares as well, but he's no longer a decision maker and any type of decision maker over at Yahoo or any Yahoo properties. This comes a couple weeks after Yahoo hired a new CEO, Scott Thompson. So Yahoo's Yang, who actually stepped down just now, took over as CEO back in 2007 after Terry Semel was ousted. And then he himself was kicked out or encouraged to leave the CEO position about a year or so later. And then about a year after that, Carol Bartz came in, who reigned for about a couple years, and then now we're in this position where we have Scott Thompson. It was pretty interesting to see this, and I was completely shocked by that announcement. Google announced their earnings last night. It was pretty amazing earnings. They keep making more money and making more profit. The only issue is it wasn't enough for Wall Street. Wall Street, their stock was down about 9 to 10% in after-hour trading last night. Now it's down about 7 or so percent as I'm doing this video at 9 o'clock this morning. And not only that, Google broke out their paid clicks and cost per click. Overall, paid clicks grew 34% year over year, meaning there's more people clicking on more ads, but the cost per click dropped 8% year over year, meaning the actual cost of each click that's done is actually cheaper, and advertisers are getting more clicks. We have more information about that. Some advertisers are upset by that, believe it or not, for this and that reason, but January 20th at SEOroundtable.com. This Monday was Martin Luther King's official day. His birthday was on Sunday, but his celebration day was celebrated in the U.S. on Monday, and they had a nice logo for it with the "I Have a Dream" speech, and we posted about that. And finally, this past Sunday, I ran XMX Israel. It was the first time we actually named it XMX Israel. It used to be called SpinCon. Besides for that, it was just an amazing conference. So many speakers. We had about 55 speakers, 3 sessions going on at once. A full-day event of just great information. The speakers are all outstanding. The sponsors, we had about 11 sponsors on site, the most sponsors we ever had, and people just loved it. The Inbound did a great job with the food and everything. We had great speakers, like I said. The sponsors were great. The advisors were great. And we have a nice video recap of how everything happened If you want to learn more about it, I posted about it on January 19th. Thank you so much for all coming, whoever was there, and all the sponsors and all the advisors and everybody. Hope to do it again next year in January in Jerusalem as well, hopefully. And again, thanks so much for coming. And that pretty much recaps the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. Today is January 20th. Yeah, Friday. And I guess I'll see you guys next week. Everyone have a great weekend. And see ya. Bye.